with more butter.
That sounds amazing.
We're trying to put some weight on our girls. We're allowed to do anything.
Honestly, like we've been making so much food at home. Like it's just been amazing. It's so good. Like we've made so many things that we haven't made in like months, you know. So it's been good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we just went live. Hey, everyone out there who's listening to us talk about amazing food that we've been cooking. Some Pennsylvania Dutch food. Hi, Andrew. Welcome.
Hello.
All right. We'll wait just a minute here while I can see people are jumping in and watching live. We have about 10 viewers already out there. So we'll just give a quick introduction. Hi, my name is Jessie, and I do marketing outreach education here at Bywater Solutions. And we have a few folks with us today that will talk about Koha. So this is kicking off our second webinar for the Koha virtual Hackfest this week. So I'll let Kyle start first, and then we'll do our introductions.
Wait, what am I starting with?
Just, you know, who you are, what you do, why you love Koha.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle. I think my official title right now is Director of DevOps at Bywater / Loose Cannon. So I just do whatever is necessary. And of course, I love being a longtime part of the Koha community. Take it away, Nick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick, or if you see me in IRC, Kid Clamp. I am a developer / sonic screwdriver at Bywater, which just means if you point me at a problem, I will make lots of noise and something will happen. So Kyle and I are here today just to talk about debugging Koha, I guess, and get into something messy that we're probably not prepared for. And take questions from people, I think, as well.
Whatever Jay-Z wants us to do.
There you go.
Whatever you guys want to do. Okay, Andrew, talk to us. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm one of the developers at Bywater, and lately I've been spending a lot of time testing bugs and trying to write a few. So I'm also here to learn some more about patches and bugs and how to do good at them.
Okay, awesome. So maybe about a month ago, we did another one of these streams where there was a whole bunch of us on here, educators, developers, and we just went through and we in the process, we were about 2 hours in and, you know, kind of just went through things. So what we'll do today is Kyle and Nick, maybe if you guys want to do a quick introduction of like, I don't know, like if we want to do a little more advanced or whatever you think is good to like pass out to our viewers out there. And then maybe we could share our screens and go through the process of signing off on some more bugs.
Sounds good. All right, what topic should we start with, Nick?
Yeah.
We're so well prepared.
Well, it depends. Do we want to focus more on signing off on bugs and stuff like that? Or do we want to talk a little bit about the process of identifying and maybe debugging these bugs? That's kind of what I thought. We've done a lot of the webinars recently where we've shown people how to sign off on bugs. And I think that's fairly well covered. But some of the questions that I get from our partners who are out there, you know, signing off on bugs, they start to get to this point where they're like, I want to fix this bug. They're like, I see a thing is wrong, but I don't know where to fix it. And so maybe we could just kind of talk about, like, start at a general overview of, you know, like how the code process works, where all the things are, starting from the templates and the JavaScript and working down into the modules.
I like that a lot.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a simple bug that I saw this morning that we can recreate, and we can kind of look at that. So let me share my screen.
Yes.
I'm just going to open a new Firefox window so that it's a little less messy. Okay, so this is actually on the OPAC. So I was testing the ability to place multiple holds on a book or on books from the results screen. And I noticed this morning, so up here you've got this select titles to, add to, and place hold. These buttons are all disabled. The idea being that when I come over here and I start to click these, they get enabled. That's not happening.
Yeah, and they are still grayed out.
Yes. So great, we've identified a bug. Where do we start? Go ahead, Kyle.
The first thing I would do is check the JavaScript console of your web browser and just see if there's any errors in there.
JavaScript console, Kyle, what's that?
It's the thingy when you hit the keys and it shows up and it tells you stuff in junk.
In most browsers, that's if you hit F12. This is going to come up. Don't be scared. All of a sudden, it's going to start showing you lots of code and lots of things. Relax.
I know on a Mac in Firefox, it's Command Option K because that's the first letter of my first name. That's the only reason I can remember it.
They named it after Kyle. So you may be familiar with this already. What this does is it gives you a view of the underlying HTML. Down at the bottom here is the JavaScript console where it's showing you anything that JavaScript is reporting out and happening. And over on the side, you have your style sheets. This is showing you all of the CSS that applies to this page and what's kind of happening there. What Kyle was specifically referring to was the console, which is also Control-Shift-K in Firefox. I don't know if you can see my little pop-ups when I hover over that. If I click on that, this is just a JavaScript console, and we are not seeing any errors.
No.
The first thing we're looking for.
They would show up in red.
Yeah, they would show up in red, and they would keep happening when I clicked on these, likely, but we're not getting any of that. So a useful thing, though, to do is go back over to this Inspector tab. At the start of every page in Koha, if they're written right, there will be a little thing that tells you the template file that you're looking at. And that's sort of the first place to look for bugs and to do things like that is in that template. That's what builds this HTML view that you're looking at.
Can I interrupt with a question?
Yeah.
What would it have told you if there had been JavaScript errors? What does it tell you that there are not?
If there had been JavaScript errors, it would tell me that probably the page isn't working because the JavaScript has broken. When there is a JavaScript error, like one that would show up in red, JavaScript is not a friendly kind of system that has an error and keeps processing other things. JavaScript says, oh, I hit an error, it throws its hands in the air and gives up. Usually when that happens, everything will stop working. If you are one of the people who likes to play with your user.js system preferences, likely it's something that you did. Not to put aside the possibility that one of us developers put in a bug that broke it. That happens too. So, but if you were in the habit of changing your JS, that's probably the first thing to check is, did I make a change recently or did I ask for a change recently?
Yeah.
And I can get that fixed.
One of the nice things when you do get an error is it usually has a hyperlink to the line of JavaScript that had the error. So that does help to identify where it is, because if it's embedded in the page, you can jump to it and you can see if that maybe looks like your OPAC user.js or your intranet user.js, or it might be in a file like circulation.js, which is just part of Koha. So that, love it. I don't see a link on yours. What happens if you click on
the link's
that?
Over here.
There, okay. So
yeah.
if you were to click on that, it should jump you to that line.
So just to highlight what I did is I went over here and I purposefully put in bad code. Even the editor, this is on master, so some of these features may not be there, but the editor is trying to tell me that there are things wrong, which is a helpful new thing that we've done. So then when I refresh the page over here, I get this big red error with this exclamation point, reference error, Borkin is not defined. If I click over here, and it's in different places in Chrome and Safari and Internet Explorer. but it's similar features. So if I click on that, it takes me to the script. I can see line 59. Yeah. Now, there is unfortunately not a good way to tell that this script is the OPAC user.js.
So
that's probably a good bug to put in.
Just about to say that would be a really nice bug to just wrap the top and bottom of the OPAC and Internet User.js system preferences with comment tags. Say, here's where it starts, here's where it ends. We should do that.
Yeah. Someone should file that bug, Andrew. Okay. So we'll take that out now because in this particular case, that's not what we had. But that would be a good, big red flag that something's wrong there. Mm-hmm. If that were in the code for Koha, you would probably see it just happening in a place where a lot of other things were happening. And then we could go look for it. So to go back to where we had found so far no JavaScript errors, we can go look at the template. Now, I can go ahead and pull up that template. I'm going to use the locate command. You can use whichever command you want to find these. Locate is how I always do it. If you're Kyle, you will just memorize that all of the scripts are in Koha-templates, OPAC-template, Bootstrap, EN, modules, OPAC results.
It's just pure muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it.
All right. So now I open this. This is the template language that Koha uses. What is a templating language? It's a little bit of a programming language to generate HTML based on data that is passed to it.
It's typically designed to be easier to use than like the actual programming language.
Yeah. Now,
and
we can't.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I don't think we can fully explain Template Toolkit or how it works. Generally, if you see things in these square brackets with a %, that means that it is a template command. If you see bare HTML, that's probably the stuff you're seeing on the page. Like if for a short example here, we have this if ms_value, wonderful variable name there. If ms value, then we show
this link.
Results of your search. If there's no ms value, then we just show search results. But it's sort of a, there's logic is in these square brackets and everything.
Yeah.
Looking at this, I have no idea from just coming here where to see what could be going wrong on the page.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to step back for a second to our page. And one of the other things you can do with the console, whether or not you have it open, is the problem we're thinking is somewhere around here, probably.
Mm-hmm.
We can go to this element, right-click on it, and say Inspect Element. What that's going to do is bring up into that little console we had before to exactly the place in the code where this is happening. So what we can do now is we say, okay, this is span ID place hold. That gives me something to look for when I come over to look at the templates. This one's just a comment. Span ID place hold. Okay, we're probably in this place. We can see that this is disabled. There's no real other logic around here. There's if tags input enabled and logged in username. But there's nothing really else around place hold. This span is actually empty. I'm sorry. So if you see an empty span like this in the template, and over here, it's not an empty span, sort of the assumption there is that JavaScript is playing a role here, because we've started with nothing and we've got something. JavaScript magically put it there. So I'm just going to keep searching for place hold within the thing. And there we go. I found the JavaScript, which shows that everything is disabled here. That's not great. But again, there's no logic. We don't know why it's disabled. So I would probably keep looking for placehold, and that's all of it is. So can I get back up to our page again? I know that I'm going fast. If there are questions, Jay-Z, interrupt us to let us know.
Okay. So Owen said maybe show how to look for the event handlers in the console.
Oh, it's just going to do that. So what I was going to say was what display, well, actually here, wait, is there an event on this one? This one does have an event. Okay, so when we right click on the element, we can inspect it. And then in the console down here, it'll sometimes show us an event. If it has that event button, that means that there is JavaScript that is tied to this button. In this case, the only JavaScript tied to the button itself is hold multiple and return false. If we go look at hold multiple, let's see what that does. This looks for how many biblio numbers are checked, sets them to 0, and then actually checks them, checks how many are counted. If we have some boxes checked, then we do hold biblio numbers. Otherwise, we message no record selected. And this part is actually working. If I click here, no item was selected. If I check something and click place hold. Interestingly enough, the button works even though it's marked as disabled. But again, this we can see, since this button is working and doing what it's supposed to, the problem is not with that button. So the problem, I would say at this point, is when we check this, this is supposed to show, this should change. So we should look at this little box here. And when we look here, there's another event tag. Excellent. Looking at the 3 of these, by the way, if you look at the top one, it's this localhost jQuery 3.4 min. At the bottom one is this localhost jQuery 3.4 min. You can probably discount those if you're looking for errors, because it's less likely that the error is in jQuery itself and the whole JavaScript framework, and it's more likely that the error is in the Koha file itself. It's not impossible that it's a jQuery error, and it'd be great if it was, because it would make us look really good. But in this case, it's in the Koha code. So if I go ahead and click on this little jQuery tag here, I can see there's a function, enable checkbox actions, which makes sense. That's a good name. That's what it's supposed to do. So if we go back here and look for enable check. Okay, so what does this function do? It first gets these JavaScript variables on the page. It looks for a class of checkboxed, and then it looks in that for an input. And I actually don't know what this syntax is.
So, so checked is a special, it's this nice, simple jQuery thing that says, only get me checked checkboxes. I haven't seen anything quite like that with 2 colons. So I've seen like input, like bracket type equals checkbox and bracket colon checked. I haven't seen that before, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong.
And that's sort of what I would expect too, which would actually be, I would expect it to be input bracket type equals checkbox, close the parens dot prop checked true, or however you do that. There's a way to do it. There's a way to test for the property, and that's probably what I would expect. Is Owen chiming in here? If not, that's fine.
So is the actual class name checkboxed like in past tense?
That's actually a really good point. If we look here, this is looking for classes of checkbox, but if I look at the input here, it does not have a checkboxed class. Its class is CB. So I'm going to go ahead and say, maybe that will help.
Try leaving.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say try leaving it the way it was and just see if that one change makes a difference.
And I'm going to do one other thing while I'm here, which is I'm going to use, if you're debugging JavaScript, you have a magic command called console.log. Now, there are debuggers out there, and everyone is right. Using debuggers is probably a better way to do it. Stepping through the code is probably a better way to do it. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do right here.
You're getting all fancy with your console logs. No, a series of 10 alert boxes is far superior.
Kyle is joking, and I will go ahead and show you why anyway, just so you can see what the two methods do. They are, either one is a valid way for debugging, just to get you some. All right.
So Owen said in chat, the form has the checkboxed class. And I don't know, there's a little bit of a delay, so it could be him just catching up from what we said before, but he said the form has the checkbox.
Okay, so that's referring to the form.
Oh, right, because the space denotes, all right, you're looking in here, and then if there's a space, it means, and then you're looking
and then
things
look underneath
like inside that other thing. So,
where
that was cromulent.
Form?
We were just.
Oh no, except I don't see a form.
There it is. The form has the class of checkboxed.
Where is div search results?
You could view the source.
Oh, there's actual search results table, div search results. So, okay.
There it is. There it is.
Form ID. But we're not in that form.
Open it. Click on your browser so it comes full to the forefront. One of the things I love about this is when you are like clicking on different elements in the inspector, it highlights it on the browser to the best of its ability. Sometimes it's not quite right, but most of the time it is.
Yeah. So our checkbox is not part of that form. Maybe we were at one point and things changed.
Mm-hmm.
Owen said, you're right. The input checkbox check selector may be overkill.
Okay. So let's go first to, okay. So I think checkbox we decided might be wrong. So if we change it to CB input checkbox checked, let's see what we get here. Now, I don't know that this will work because then these are not sort of.
So what we're going to do now is just try and get those checkboxes directly, right?
Yeah.
So I need my jQuery cheat sheet. I think you want to do like input.cb.
That's what I was just going to say, yeah.
And then you could probably get rid of that checkbox colon and just go with straight checked, because the only thing that is checked are checkboxes.
Good point.
It's kind of implied.
Okay. So we've saved this code. Because we're only making a change to the template, we don't need to restart any services. We just need to reload our page. Okay, so this is the result of Kyle's alert that we put in. Object, very helpful. In the console, we do actually get that same object, but fortunately, we can
much more useful.
Expand it. And apologize, everyone. I should have probably zoomed in before. So this time we're actually getting input bib14. So we're getting these checkboxes that we expect. That's good. The question is too, if I do this, length is 1, perfect. If I do a second one.
And you see that length was 1, and now if you see length is 2 because there are 2 checkboxes checked. Oh, and look, the buttons, they are no longer disabled looking.
Oh, look at that. I uncheck them. Ooh. Hooray! We did it.
All right.
Now we just have to file a bug, turn this into a patch, and attach that patch to it.
Okay. Is there a bug file for this already?
I did not file a bug for it.
Perfect.
The other option for dealing with these bugs when you find them in the templates like this is what I tried to do this morning, which is you just put a message in the IRC and you go, "Oh, Leonard, this is broken." And then you hope and you pray and you wait. And usually Owen will just come along and fix it because he's an amazing guy. But if he doesn't, or if you want to be nice to Owen, you can at least do the courtesy of filing the bug yourself and then assigning it to him. But in this case, we'll file the bug and we'll take it for ourselves as well.
The process seems like it might not scale very well.
Yes, if we all do this.
Not until we have the ability to replicate ONs.
This is always the fun part, and we could do a 4-hour webinar about how to select the name of this bug.
Let's do that.
No. Selection.
Still 4 hours.
Enabled.
We're going all night.
Just remember, Nick, I'm watching.
Excel boxes. Yeah, I know. This is just I'm being watched and I'm talking. This is too much. I'm just putting that
No pressure. There's no pressure, Nick. Are you feeling stressed? I wish I had a balloon. Need a pin.
I'm going to do at least one thing here, which is, okay, I put some words here that try to say what I'm talking about. I've got checking, result, and I'll say check boxes. Try to put lots of words that are relevant to what's happening. Another good thing to do is put the actual script page that you see there.
Mm-hmm.
That will at least let people search for that. And other things, yeah. Search results. I'm just going to actually say place hold button because that's the one that I actually really noticed. It does apply to, it affects this text over here and it affects this stuff, but the place hold button is the most noticeable one. So I think that's good. All right, to recreate one, search on the OPAC to get multiple results. To note, place hold button is disabled. Now there is the key that you will have to allow people to place holds on the OPAC in order to see that place hold button at all. You should probably. I think it's implied. You wouldn't be wrong if you asked me to put that into the test plan. I'm still not going to do it right now. Oh, I am. Now, again, if you are a different kind of person, you may know what that syspref is called already. I don't happen to. While there's a very valid point that you should do your best to make sure all of these directions are clear and put as much information as you can, you should also know that it's okay to try your best.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have all the answers, just putting there what you can will at least get it started.
And it is called request on OPAC.
Request on OPAC? Oh.
Yes.
Thank you.
I did not have that memorized. I looked it up.
Is there something for placing multiple holds? Or is that inherently enabled?
I believe it is inherently enabled.
Okay. All right. Check a box next to a result for note place button not enabled. Okay, so now I've submitted the bug. I have made my changes over here. I did gloss over the whole fact that I have a development environment and then I'm making assumptions that you understand what a development environment is and how to make those changes. But, you know, if you don't, ask us, we'll help. We're trying to cover as much ground as we can here. I'm going to do, this is what I like to do before ever I create a patch, is to call git diff. Just so that I can review the changes that I have made. That will help me know if I have put console logs and various debugging things that need to get taken out before I do my patch, which I'm going to go do.
Shall we show them the Koha QA script? Because does.
Yeah.
Like
Can't
I
hurt.
tend to, well, first let's commit these two so that we have our patch.
I'm just going to do git commit -a, which will commit everything.
All changes to all files that are currently being tracked.
According to community guidelines, your bug should always start with the word bug, the 5-digit bug number, a colon, and then a space, and then a description of what the patch does. The bug title is a description of the problem within Koha. The commit title is a description of what you have changed. So this is fix selector for check boxes on results page. I'm going to go ahead and take my whole test plan that I put into the bug and put it here. It's nice if you spend time putting your 2 recreate steps, because then they can be copied here. And then you just have the next step of apply patch. And if you're real lazy, you just say repeat, but now it works.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Do a new search. 7. Select a check box. 8. Note the space hold button is enabled. And then I like to have fun at the end of my bugs. Except I should spell happy right. Okay. Once that's done, I can go ahead and use our simple fun get BZ thing to, oh wait, Kyle wanted to run the QA scripts.
Yeah. So this, I would call this an optional but recommended step so that you don't have to go back and fix QA failures.
For developers, this is a required step. For testers, you don't necessarily have to do this.
No. Yeah, for signing off, this is not necessary. The QA team will always do this.
I think what you told me about this step, Nick, was I may as well do it because it's the first thing anybody QAing it is going to do. So if it doesn't work for me now, there's no point in submitting this patch.
Yes. If you're testing in a sandbox, though, and you're not on the command line, this is not a step that you are.
Ooh, we should add that to the sandbox.
Mm.
We can do that.
Now these here, you can ignore them.
It's not. It's probably not.
The important thing is that see how all this is green? If it's red, that's bad. If it's green, go ahead.
Martin said in chat, you no longer need a -C1, by the way. QA-V2 will do the trick.
Oh, cool. Does it?
I presume that's only if there's only one patch.
I was gonna say, is that based on how far ahead of master you are? Like how many patches you have applied? So if I've applied like 4 different bugs, will it QA all of them when I do that, Martin? He asks to the void.
Because that would be sweet.
All right, so I've said to attach that. Now I get to go in here and I get to edit this screen. Any edits I make here are just switching options on the bug. I can both say that it is needs sign off. It is a trivial patch. It does not depend on anything, so I could add that.
And at the top, if you make changes to that, what that is changing is the Bugzilla comment that goes with your submission.
But not the patch itself.
Exactly.
So adding a test plan at that step is a bad idea because it will show up on GitHub, but it won't be in your commit message. So it won't show when it's committed to Koha.
So Martin responded and he said, no, it picks all bugs since the last bug number change, and failures will only display failures.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
That is TIL.
Yeah. So as long as you're only testing one bug, then it'll pick all relevant patches.
Cool.
And Katrin said someone should add that to the wiki.
/me looks at Martin. All right, and so now we've attached a bug. Do we have something else to demonstrate? Actually, I'm going to go real fast and just hypothesize. Let's say that what we had found and what we had done in opacresults.tt did not solve our problem. That we found out that it did not seem to be the code there, but it seemed to be something happening before the template. We would determine that if everything in the template looked like it was working, if we'd done that console log and everything's coming out right and there's still no errors. The next thing that we would want to look at would be the actual Koha script itself, which fortunately is really easy to find because it tells you where it is right here. The name of that script is opac-search.pl. So I'm going to go ahead and do a locate opac-search.pl. And at this point, you've gone past template toolkit, which is fairly readable language, into the direct Perl, which is also fairly readable language. But if you want to call this inscrutable, you wouldn't be wrong. This is where everything that happens for this page gets set up. It's sort of it builds all gets all the information from the database to prepare it for the template. It does all the logic of figuring out what's going to show on the template, what parameters it's going to pass, and all of that. Anything you want to comment on there, Kyle?
No, I think you have it. I mean, once you understand this, you will start going mad. We're all mad here.
So looking in here, you can see things like here where we do template param and we're passing things like Baker Taylor enabled, Baker Taylor image. These are going to the templates, and like this one's pretty obvious. We do try to be obvious in Koha about what we're doing. We try to have very clear variable names. That's why you have system preferences that are, half a novel in length to describe the system preference, because we do try to be verbose. So running through here, this is where you would start to look for these problems. You have the same options here that you did in the template for putting some logging out there, except this time it's just called warn. And you can say things like something bad or at line 174 or in this condition. Anyway, you would write in here whatever is going to help you. You can also dump out any sort of these variables that you see. So I could dump warn template. That's not going to be very useful. And this would be a little bit more functionality. Dumper.
I feel like we should do a series of debuggings specializing in each type of thing, like JavaScript versus template toolkit versus Perl.
Yeah. So I'm just going to I just want to describe one more thing. So let's actually go back to here for 1 second. If we're looking at the script, which all the PLs are called script, if we're looking at the script, it at some point is going to make a call down to the module to get some information. And we'll see that somewhere. I assume there's got to be at least one subroutine call here somewhere. If you see one, Kyle.
Get item types categorized.
Where did you see that?
That was up a little bit. It's the top line.
Oh, there you go.
27.
All right. So this is setting a variable my item types equals get item types categorized. Or even down here where you have call Koha item types find. These are calls out to the modules. The modules are supposed to be the things that all interact with the database and have most of the logic and pretty stuff and fun stuff. The big stuff that Koha does. So you can use get grep, get item types. Is it? I think it's that. Nope.
Was it a capital T?
Yeah. Get grep will let you find in the code the routine calls that you're looking for or other bits of code. It just basically searches all of Koha for that phrase. When we see here this head 2 and this sub, that lets us know that we found the file over here containing that subroutine. So then we can look into the module. And this is where the business happens. And we can look in here and we could see if there was a problem with the item types, we can see what we're doing. This is actually straight SQL. We're just making a SQL call and looking at the data tables, or looking at the tables for Koha. I'm gonna let Kyle drive for the next one.
Wait, no, what? I don't want to.
Because I think what we should do is look at another bug and try to do some more debugging. Because I think that's what we promise people is we do some live code spaghetti and digging into things. So we need a bug.
I like being the hype man. I'm your Flava Flav. So what bug should we look at? Let's see.
I'm sure Donna and I both have small piles of bugs that we filed. We're good bug machines.
All right. I'll share again, Kyle.
Oh, I am perfectly happy to drive. I was joking.
Well, if we go Bugzilla, you should all be familiar with Bugzilla. Again, we have covered this and we are happy to cover it again. But we want to get into some debugging today. So I'm going to come here and just look for any of the reporter contains. We'll go for Donna. Her bugs will be more interesting.
I don't know. I'm looking at them right now. I'm thinking, no, these aren't very interesting.
Oh.
I don't know. And that's the thing is like, I'm coming in from a perspective that I have no idea how hard this is going to be for y'all to do. But what about the 952 iStock number, 24780? Is that one you can?
Is stock number mapped to a column in the items table? Would be my first question. So let's find out.
Go ahead and show us, Kyle.
All right. Here, let me get myself arranged. My screens are all weird and stuff, so I'll do my best to make it readable. Let's see.
Fun fact, Kyle uses 14 monitors.
Really?
Let's
no,
see.
it's
all right.
probably 4 at this point.
Yeah. Well, at the max, it was 8, but I have like switched things around, so it's mostly on one big monitor. Let's see. All right, I'm trying.
Sorry. Owen also said in chat, you can also search for Academy bugs.
Oh, that's a great idea. Here, all right. So I am here. I'm trying to remember how I search. That's a tag, right?
Yeah. So Koha Academy is a yearly program run by Catalyst in New Zealand, where they bring in, I believe, high school students and show them kind of what we're trying to show you in 1 hour in a week. They go through the process of debugging these Koha things, and they try to take on these smaller bugs that we mark Academy. When you're filing a bug in community, if it's a really small bug that you think is something that can be easily patched, it's not going to take hours of digging and hours of work, you can mark it as Academy to help them out when they're ready to come for these. Bugs that are about display tend to be this, or small changes to behaviors.
How do we pull up things by tag? I don't think I've ever had to do that in Bugzilla.
I think there's a link to Academy down at the bottom of the page, actually, a canned search, which does not answer your real question, but it gives you a way to do it.
I think you have to, no?
Next to the 20.05 targets.
Oh. Academy, thank you.
As we all point at it with our mice in a way that
It's right there.
Doing the same thing, Andrew.
Why are you seeing this? All right. Okay, so let's see. What is something good? I mean, do we want something really simple or something a little less simple? I'm trying to, let's see, some modules, no, that one wouldn't be interesting. This one would be easy, maybe even a little too easy. Let's see. Date filter on. Let's take a look at this and see what this is. All right, date filter on circulate. Oh, I should have asked, is my screen even readable at this size? I know I've got a pretty good chunk here. Should I?
We can see both, Kyle, your Bugzilla tab and then your terminal tab, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can embiggen my terminal. All right, date filter on circulation statistics not working correctly. The from and to date filter on the circulation statistic wizards are exclusive, but should be inclusive. So if you pick both, it only uses one. All right, this sounds interesting. On the circulation statistics wizard, I don't know if that's a simple thing to work on. Let's go take a look. So if we go in here, we go to reports, I would imagine. You can tell how often I use these things. Are we talking about this, the statistics wizard? Circulation statistics wizard. All right. So we have, this is, I believe, the place that we are talking about. So we have a period here. Perfect. So let's just pick some periods. Let's see. I'm just going to pick two really wildly different periods. So that encompasses everything. I guess I will pick row. You can tell how often I use this, which is never. So let's just run it and see what we get. Let's see what we get. Nothing, because I have nothing checked out. All right, let's go find something and check something out so we at least have a result. That might be useful. All right, so go with the nice depressing title. And we'll check it out to Henry Acevedo because I always use Henry for some reason. All right, yes, check it out despite that debt. All right, so now if we go back here and we reload this, one would hope that we would have, oh, it's limited to CPL. Wait, but I am CPL. Checked out from CPL. Is that not a CPL book? Let's go look. It helps, you know, maybe I should remove those date limits to start with. Centerville. Fairview is the home library, so maybe that's the problem. All right, so first off, let's strip these out just so we can actually get a baseline where it works. That seems good. And let's get rid of these limits because that's not what we're worried about. Event is issue. What am I doing wrong? Does anybody have any ideas, any suggestions from the educators? All right, total count, not unique to the screen. Period. What if we, whoa. Oh, okay. Okay, I understand that now. So what if we do that? Patron category type is checkout. And that was a checkout, no group by, no date limits. And we're still getting nothing. 2023-27, that's the today, right? Yeah, that is today.
I can't remember if this looks at the issues table or the statistics table.
Both of which should have things in it now.
Yeah. I mean, it seems entirely possible it's actually looking at old issues and it's not going to count this until it gets returned.
That would be interesting.
Say again?
But there's a row there. Why is there a row there? Like, it's not returning nothing. It's returning a row that says 0, which I'm hoping
this is my ignorance and not like another bug.
But I think it does that. It's not like a straight SQL report where you just get nothing. It will give you a row of 0.
Wait, why? That just says staff. Because Henry Acevedo is staff. Is staff. See? Henry is staff.
But now you have it set to return, don't you?
Which I did do. I did do a return.
Oh.
This is checked in. So there is a checkout and a return. I'm going to go back.
I'm anxiously waiting for the people watching us at home to start giving us answers in the chat.
I mean, I'm ready to try something else, because if we can't get past this part, we certainly can't get to fixing it.
And this does happen, where what you probably would do in this case is, if you hit the scenario, is go back to the bug and comment and say, I don't understand how to create this. Can you please give me a step-through example?
Yeah.
Which is also why it's important to file your bugs with that recreate step. Because we're not all familiar with every part of Koha.
Yeah. Let's go. You know what? Let's go back and take a look and see if there's something else that we can take a look at. Let's see. Example notice for claims notice. FastApp framework has different form.
About searching by library groups uses group title rather than description.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. Searching by library groups uses group title rather than description. When using library search groups, the title of the group shows up in advanced search rather than the description. The description doesn't seem to be present anywhere except when calling that thing in a report.
Hungry alligators.
Hungry alligators, X pipe character. I don't even think there's a space in there. That's just kerning groups. And
oh, sorry. Katrin said, check your limits and also try returning it.
Say again?
She was talking about the last bug. Check your limits and try returning. Yeah, he did try returning it, and we still...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did. I did. We can always revisit that one if we get through this and have time. Let's see.
And Martin also said to all of our listeners out here, he'd like to encourage more mentoring generally in community. If you're keen to start out coding, I'm happy to try and find more time to mentor. Just ask in IRC. Yeah. Thanks, Martin.
And Kyle and I are generally also available in IRC. We are also in our Slack channel and can be reached in the partners channel. Feel free to ask us for questions. We're always happy to help people who are trying to get started with this stuff. We are still working on, and we'll try to get up a quick demo of setting up a Koha development environment. It doesn't always go smoothly, so it's taken us a little while to get a real easy demo of that, but we are looking into it.
Title shown in the GUI can be changed anytime. I think this is supposed to be the display text, while the description can be used to give more information to staff. All right, while we use internal codes for things like libraries/branches and item types that we enter in the GUI, the library groups feature uses a numeric primary key. Unlike a code, the title shown in the GUI can be changed at any time. I think it is supposed to be the display text. Let's go take a look at this. I should know this better offhand because I wrote the original feature, but you know, that was years ago. That was another guy. Anything older than like 2 weeks, it was written by somebody else. All right, so if we go into Koha administration and we go to, where are my library groups? There we go. All right, so let's just make up a group. We'll call this test group, and we are going to use this for OPAC and staff search groups. And let's make this explicit: test group title and test group description, so we know what we're looking at. So we will add some libraries to this. Just add a few libraries. All right, so now if we go to the advanced search, oh, I did not notice, this does not specify catalogs versus staff side. So it might be either one or both. So if we look down here at groups, we see test group title. So I tend to believe that that is correct, that the title is what we should be using here. Does anybody have a dissenting opinion? I mean, we could do title and description, but I feel like that might be a little overkill. I think that's why there was discussion on this. Better labeling. Should we, so is there something in here we should fix instead? Should we be changing this? Should we add some informational text here?
I mean, what's the last comment from Lizette on that bug?
It is, I think probably it needs better labeling. I can definitely see how people have used descriptions differently. When BWS set up our groups, when the feature was added, our descriptions were very similar to our titles.
So it's probably our fault.
Yeah, I mean, basically title is something short for pull downs. Description is if you need an explanation of this. Like you might have like, let's say NWPA is your title, like NWPA. And then your description would be libraries in the northwest part, there's a better word than part, of Pennsylvania. Like you don't want that in a pull down because it's a little too verbose. Title might be a little too terse right now, but
so maybe it should just say title, and then underneath it could say shows in search pull downs, and the description could just be.
We could have it like here.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Even if it's not going to be the right thing, it doesn't hurt to put something out there and see if people like that solution. Sometimes the solution to a problem is not clear cut. It can be ambiguous. And sometimes we have developers, we might have 2 or 3 different possible solutions, and then we leave it up to somebody else to decide. Often we'll get input from 1 or more of the QA team members as to like what is the best way forward. All right, so we are looking at the library group script, and let's see. How did we look at the source? You can see exactly what Nick was talking about previously. Librarygroups.tt is the name of the script, or the name of the template file.
4 minutes, Kyle.
4 minutes? Oh no, okay, I'll work faster. All right. Let's see.
We can go over a couple minutes.
Yeah, hope there were some good patches.
All right. So if we look at, this is the one I want. If we look in here, I'm going to go back to that editor, and I see it. The title of this is Edit Group. So I found the code for this modal, and I am going to take a stab at what this should look like, and I think the class is hint, and I will put displayed in the, what sentence should I put here? Displayed in the library groups.
This is where I would ask the educators.
Educators, what do you think? What should this sentence say?
Lizette is in the chat. Let's see what she would recommend, or like see what she would think to say.
Phew.
We have a couple second delay here.
Thanks, JC.
Yeah.
You saved us.
I'm feeling very short, but in reality, my monitor is very tall.
As an aside, Kyle is using Vim for his editor, I believe. If you wondered how he magically just like got to that section that said edit group, / in Vim will take you into the search feature and you can just type there. These are little things that I really gloss over when we're doing them because using Vim is such second nature to us. So a good rule too, when you're asking the developers help, forgive us because sometimes we don't realize that what we're doing might look like magic.
Yes. I will also point out that my color scheme is better than Nick's.
Mine's the default one that came with Koha. Like I don't worry about it.
I don't even remember what this one is called. I used to use Solarized. I like these, they're a bit on the calm side, easy on the eyes when you're staring at code all day.
Let me point out that even if Kyle's monitor is tall, I'm still taller than him. Doesn't matter for anything. I'm just pointing it out.
Very.
You too.
By wide margin.
Here's what Lizette said. She said, displayed in library group search down or similar.
Say that again, please.
Displayed in library groups search drop downs or something similar.
All right. I like that. Library group search drop downs. Let's go with that. Let's reload this page and see how that looks. See if I got that class right. So if I do an edit, I mean it doesn't look great. Where's that I coming from? Did I accidentally put an I in here? All right, I'm going to delete that, undo everything. Yeah, I think I did see that. What if we put a break in here? Ooh, maybe a paragraph. Let's see what that looks like. There's probably a good way to say, this is where I say, Owen, can you help me style this correctly? I'm going to go ahead and submit this patch just so it's put out there. It can always be modified and improved. I'm going to take out that piece now because I have the suspicion that there is a better way to style that. So if we do our git diff, it looks like that. Git commit -a -m bug 22937 add hint to groups editor. And then I can do the Koha QA, which I run slightly different. And I know I just learned, okay, I'm going to try without the C. I've never done that. Feels weird. On mine, it takes an awkwardly long time because I'm doing it inside this Docker, and I don't have there are some options you can set up to make it faster, but I haven't. I should probably skip this for speed. Let's see, it's still on here. Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and attach it. So, oh, you cannot see that part where I'm typing. I have an alias set up to make my life easier, and this does come with Koha Testing Docker, and I think Koha DevBox. Git BZA, and then you put the number of patches, and then optionally you can put the bug number in case it can't figure out what it is automatically. So I'm going to set it to need sign off. This is a string patch. Like, we're not changing any logic, so I will set it to a string patch. And we are done. This little complaint here, that's normal for the alias that I used because it only did one patch. And if we reload the page, need sign off, and there is my lovely patch. And it's still testing that. He's very slow. He's very slow. All right. I guess our time is up now.
Cool.
Any final thoughts?
hopefully everybody got at least a little bit of idea of where you can poke things in Koha to make things happen and to break it or fix it. But please definitely feel free to reach out to me and Kyle. It's also important to note that Kyle does things differently than I do, and that's okay. His colors are better than mine, and that's good. We all get to do things a little bit differently, so you don't have to follow our rules exactly. Just like go out there and have fun with Koha. We really want you to. We want it to be like it's made to be cracked open and it's made to be messed with. So that's what we'd like to see.
I love your colors too, Nick. All colors are valid.
Thanks. I mean, Brendan might have things to say about either of our color schemes.
Thank you both so much, and Andrew and Donna for being here to walk us through so many things today, and to all of our listeners out there. It was quite active in the chat, so thank you for providing feedback and watching along with us, and we'll see you next time. We'll definitely do more of these in the future. So if you have any comments or suggestions, or you just need help, you know where to reach us. Thank you.
Thank you.